been a while since I've done this. Hey guys, let's wait for some people to come on in. This is just an introduction for post-stream. Let's make sure everything is going as intended. See if I can just dock it up on my PC like this for now. Perfect. Hopefully that stays. Let's wait for some people to get on here real quick. Yeah, it's a little bit of a slow time right now, so I decided, you know what, let's hop on live, answer some questions if there's any, and then show some BTS progress. All right, hello everyone, welcome in. Starting to see some people show up. I'm gonna let my Discord friends know what's going on. Do I know what a Mesmo globe is? Never heard of it. From Quatez Buchanan. And hello there, Alex. Tornado F25. Good afternoon. It is afternoon now, isn't it? So I guess depending on how much audience we get, it's probably going to determine how long we do the stream. My percentage right now is at 34%, so should be okay, especially with the battery saving mode on. I think we'll be fine. Yeah, I was a little late posting that. Just Alex is fine. All right, perfect. Yeah, so pretty much what I'm doing right, it's actually a spinning desk toy, pretty cool to look at. I'll have to look into that right now, actually, because you've definitely upped my curiosity. Okay, all right. I see what you're talking about here. Mesmo globe. Oh. Yeah, very interesting how that works. It's just a huge optical illusion, isn't it? All right. Hello, Seattle Wa Sirens. Welcome into the stream, my friend. Profile picture is one of those toys. No, it's really small, and my phone's like 2 or 3 feet away from my face. Wow, we had a big jump in audience. Hello, everyone. Looks like there's 13 of you now in here. We went from 3 to 13, just like that. Yeah, so anyways, for those of you just tuning in, I'm just taking a little time to have a little Q&A session with you guys, if you guys are interested, or a little bit of BTS talk. I know right now I'm putting together a little BTS teaser here on my setup. And yeah, I don't want to give away too much on it, but I can give you guys a few little stills, perhaps. Let's go ahead and try it out real quickly. Hang on, bear with me, guys. So this is the setup here at the apartment. Got the portable monitor down here, screen on the left, screen in the middle, screen on the right, and the PC, of course. Peripherals, all Corsair, as well as the Elgato Stream Deck. Got the first generation Echo Spot, Lumetric Time smart clock, and a fake plant from IKEA. So this is a little screen, a little still image. So back in 2018, I don't remember what month it was. I think it was May probably. Went to try to go and film this newer 2001 130 down in Fife by Sportco. And if you guys notice, my most recent siren video is of the modulator 8032-B that replaced this back in 2020. And so this, and of course, all of the old sirens in the system on the DTMF system all failed. Go figure. So yeah, bye-bye 130, like Seattle Wa Siren says. Had to skip this month's siren testing because I wanted to take a break for this month. Hey, it's never a bad thing to take a break, you know. I had to take a break for November because we got rained out, unfortunately. So yeah, this siren failed, of course, but you can hear a modulator ambience in the background. You know, a couple modulators nearby. This was before the 8032B replacement cycle went through, about 2 years before it. And so this one was a fail. And then it's got several BTS clips. There's The Sound of Transit, I believe is their name now. Went to several tests with them. And that's pretty much all I have to show for this session right now, because I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, because look at all these clips. I want to show you guys this real quick. Gonna zoom out for you guys. So in exception of the little spaces here, got about 43 minutes or so of all BTS through 2022. And then got a couple hours worth of just 2023, because that was the year that this channel really took off. So I've got, trying to estimate for you guys here on the timeline. It starts at about 49 minutes and then goes all the way up to 3 hours 11. So over 2 hours of just 2023 BTS. Of course, this is unedited right now. It'll be trimmed down big time once I take all of the unnecessary clips out. But this is just an overall timeline of everything right now. See, so a lot of these clips will be shortened to just show the best moments. So before editing, a little over 2 hours worth of 2023 content. And then about 2 hours of 2024 and 2025 BTS content. So right now, I'm aiming to have these come out in 3 different installments, as well as the teaser. The teaser would come out first. That's what this is right over here. But it would be a shorter little section for everything I have before 2023, and then the 2023 section, and then the 2024 and 2025 section I've seen there. Cortez Buchanan says, and for December, I'm going to go to East Point to record the last wheelin' in that city. All right. Question for you. Where are you based out of? Are you anywhere near Washington? Austin Vance 9260 says, hello, Milton Watt Tech. Hello, Austin. How are you doing this afternoon? Just going over a little bit of BTS. So I've got my Facebook profile for my Facebook page, Puget Sound Stormwatch. If you guys want any weather content for this area, I am also on YouTube at Puget Sound Stormwatch. I now have 2 channels over 1,000 subscribers, which is pretty crazy. And the channel that I have on here, this is for Puget Sound Stormwatch. So I just crossed 1.25K here on MWT99 just the other day. So that was really, really cool to see. And I have 1.15K approximately on Puget Sound Stormwatch. Wow, that was a lot of rambling, wasn't it? Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. Doing good. Also got a question. Have you been posting most of the weather radio videos like in a while? Yeah, so I cleared out my entire EAS backlog, like literally everything. All of my EAS alerts that I have up to this moment have been uploaded. I just uploaded them a couple of days ago. Thursday, I think I finished that, including this last Wednesday test as well. So I'm all caught up on that, and so as a result of that, I'm beginning all of the work on the BTS right now. So that way I can have a trailer, hopefully, to release in a couple of days. I'm just getting all the clips set up right now. It's going to be sort of a theatrical trailer, you know, cinematic, as I usually like to do. Ooh, excuse me. And so I'm editing clips to music right now, and I'm selecting a lot of the best moments from over the years. Is putting them in the one big compilation. Now put quite a few edits over it. I'm still debating on it, how exactly I want this to be formatted. But I do have an overall idea of how I want to do it right now. Just checking my Discord real quick. yeah, so in total, I've got probably about 5 hours worth of. Um, we're just gonna call it gross. About 5 hours worth of gross content that needs to be edited together. So I'm going through literally everything, mainly anything that involves a siren sounding, and just putting it together into this little like 2 minute 30 second trailer of sorts. Do you record fire alarms? I used to do some alarm recording back early in my channel days. Through, I believe, I did it quite a bit from 2015 through 2016 in my sophomore year of high school. I know there were times where my apartment that I lived in at the time would test the fire alarm systems, and I'd record that. It'd be at random times though, so it wouldn't be anything like in a specific format. It would be impromptu, like, oh hey, fire alarms are sounding, gotta record, you know. But sometimes it would happen at school too. So I believe I have a fire alarm testing series on YouTube. If you go around through my playlists a little bit on my main channel, you should be able to find those pretty easily. Now, I got one more question for you. There was a video when I was watching on your YouTube channel. You did a video unboxing the Radio Shack 12247A. Yeah, and crazy to think I've had that radio for over 10 years now. I think I got it around the same time as my AlertWorks EAR 10 at the very start of 2015. It's probably sometime in February or March, if I recall. But yeah, I still have that radio over in the corner over here, and it still works just fine. You should be able to hear it in my most recent EAS video that I uploaded, and if not, you can definitely hear it when I'm right there in the tornado warning EAS video that I just uploaded as well. And so, yeah, it's one of the louder radios. It's also, I believe it's one of my only radios that doesn't have an independent power supply. The power supply is either built into the radio or it just uses 120 volts, 15 amps straight from the wall. But I believe the power supply is built into the radio. It's one of those older ones, but a lot of my older ones also have the standard DC power supplies, but this one runs on AC power. Just a little bit of an anomaly that I thought was pretty cool. What's your favorite radio in my collection? Oh, this is a good one. You got to make me think here this afternoon, don't you? Let's see. I think I have 23 radios last time I checked. I'm missing my HH50. My HH50 is somewhere in the garage at my old house, so I got to go look for that. But I've got a couple of radios disabled as well. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, so sorry, Seattle Wall Sirens, for not answering your question right away. Just want to go over the current status of my radio collection. I'd say about 75% of my radio collection is currently working and or active. Mainly active, like 80 to 90% are actually working fully. Unfortunately, when I moved over here, my HH54 VP stopped working entirely. The LCD backlight works, but the LCD is completely busted and I can't get any audio out of it. So very, very sad. You know, I got that radio. I think I got that radio also in the beginning of 2015, sometime in February. So yeah, RIP HH54 VP. But yeah, anyways, my 12993 is currently disabled. I don't have rechargeable batteries for it anymore. Unfortunately, a lot of my rechargeable batteries went kaput over the years. I will eventually have to get those soon, but it's just out of the budget right now. You know, because running businesses online and just doing everything online full time, not actually having an hourly job anymore, because I quit my job at Safeway at the very beginning of August, and I've been online full time since. It hasn't really been smooth, to say the least. You know, I need a lot of help financially, so unfortunately, maybe going back to work here next year, which I don't want to do if I don't have to, but if I have to, then I will. Let's see, 12522 is currently down, no batteries for that. 12382 has a tuner issue. So the tuner no longer works on my 12382, my second weather radio. My lacrosse 810-805 still works. I just need some batteries for it as well. So pretty much a lot of my portables are just currently down for the moment. I just need sort of a power setup for that to hopefully run them full time. But I think that makes 5 or 6 radios that I currently don't have in commission. But anyways, my favorite radio. Sorry about that rambling. My favorite. Did I say video? Sorry, going scramble brain here. Anyways, my favorite radio overall. Trying to think of what to base this off of. Definitely not the 12093. That's one of my least favorites, honestly. The fact you can't disable the siren completely is kind of tough. I would have to say probably the Recom R1630, which is out in my living room, just because of the alert memory. The fact that it has 25 alert memory slots makes it really easy and has really saved my cake over the years. Like having all of these missed EAS alerts and the timing of them, that was really a godsend. So I'm going to have to say the Recom R1630 is probably my number one favorite radio. All right, Austin, I see you removed a couple of comments. Yeah, so sorry if I missed any of your questions. Just bear with me here. It's your first fire alarm video. Was that a P2R or P2R? Is that L or I? That's a great question. I honestly don't know. So I used to be bigger into fire alarms when I had some fire alarm friends around me when I was like 12. But I just turned 26 this month. So, back in 2012, 2013, that's when my fire alarm interest was sort of at peak. And I think it was before I made Milton Watt Tech 99 Productions as a channel. One of my previous channels, I had fire alarm slideshows where I literally just take pictures of fire alarms on my Kodak PlaySport camera at the time, the little flip camera. Just take fire alarm pictures at school and when my mom was a YMCA gym member. Because I know they had, I think they had simplex true alerts at the Auburn YMCA, which I thought were a pretty cool design overall. But yeah, I don't know the exact answer to that question, Quatez. Sorry about that. L series came out in 2017. Okay, so Alex has a little bit to chime in about the fire alarms. That's good. Good to see some credibility in here. That video is from 2016, so that's an advanced P2R. How does the siren work on your 12247A? Well, very glad you asked. And I can show you guys here real quick over in the weather radio corner. I have the 74-109 WR120EZ with the strobe. Capello CR2W, Eton Zone Guard, Radio Shack 12093. And over here I have the 12247A and the Eton SolarLink FR370. So literally this is going to blast you, but I just hold down the test button for a few seconds. Okay, get ready. So that's how that works. Then you hit weather, and then you go back to alert standby, and for some reason it's still blinking. There we go. So yeah, it's definitely one of the louder alarms that I have for sure. Guess I can show you guys a little weather radio collection while I'm up and about like this. Over here in the corner, most recently put back up my Sangean CL100. This, the 12382 and 12519, for some reason would not connect to the weather band signal when I first moved into this apartment. But then for some reason it just started randomly working again, so I decided we're going to put it back into commission. And it's worked every test since, knock on wood. They have the Midland 74-200 right here. Everything's plugged in down there. So got 9 radios here in the corner. You know, some Radio Shack weather radios, like some of it, are from the 90s. Oh, yeah, for sure. Over here in the living room, have the Radio Shack 12996 and the Midland WR300. Don't quote me on which version this is. I'm not sure, and I don't feel like resetting it right now. So, you know, just to find out, I'm not 100% on that. Here's my Recom R1630. Okay, Seattle Wall Siren says that's a version 5D. Thank you for the clarification. So Recom R1630, this is actually my second iteration of this radio. My original one completely died a few years ago, I think back in 2022. And so I got a newer one. Got this newer one with the right adapter this time, because the previous one didn't actually have the adapter. It was just the radio. So I had to get a separate adapter. I think the adapter I used probably killed it finally. So a couple years back in 2022, I think it was, if I recall, I got this new Recom R1630. And Radio Shack 12519. Got the Midland WR10, one of the older Midland radios here in the window. And of course, my first radio, the Midland WR100. Again, I don't know which version this is. Could probably reset it later on to find out, because you guys can see the times off. But it's a 2010 model as far as I know. I know I got it in 2010, around like December 2010. So this radio is actually going to be turning 15 years old very soon. Got the AlertWorks EAR10 here in the kitchen. Late version 5 then for the 100. Then of course my scanner here, the Uniden Bearcat BC345CRS.
Northwest in the afternoon. Gusts up to 25 miles an hour. Sunday night.
Still haven't actually figured out how to program this after over 10 years of having it. Oh, look, there's an insect. Watch this, guys. Don't try this at home. You guys just witnessed a murder on camera. So, are you talking about the button beeps for the 100? I believe these are the standard button beeps. Dead bug, says Alex. Yes, dead bug. So yeah, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 radios out here in the living room kitchen area. So you go back into the room here. I've got 9 over here, 5 on the wall, 4 in the window. So that makes 17 active radios here in my apartment. No complaints from the neighbors yet, too, which is really cool and enlightening to make sure that I don't get busted for anything stupid here. Oh, for the 300, okay. Yeah, sure, let's go check that out real quick, I suppose. I think it's just standard button beeps. Listen to this. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's too helpful, but you know, feel free. Yeah, that's version 5D. Okay, thank you for that. Also, look at this, guys. I had these lights for 4 months, and I just set them up the other day. These are Govee Cube wall sconces, the 6-pack. I wish I had a way to clean up the wires a little better, but unfortunately there's only so much cable management I can do in an apartment. I've got the cable channels here and there, but I don't have enough to really clean all of this up in the long run. So just thought you guys might be interested in seeing that. Oh, live for almost a half hour already. Wire mold shenanigans. Yeah, so I've got all sorts of channels behind my setup too. I'll show you guys the wiring back here. Pretty crazy, but you can see very little of it from the front. And unfortunately, got to figure out. I tried this one time. I used the electrical tape mod on the back of the monitors. It actually worked pretty good. Because obviously it's going to be difficult for me to get 3 wall mounted monitors in perfect orientation. But yeah, lots of Velcro ties and lots of cable channels here. Unfortunately, the speaker wire wasn't long enough, so that's what I have to work with right there. Sometimes this gaming light doesn't turn on with the command, so I just gotta, pew. There we go. Got a fan right there in the corner. But yeah, guys, this is where all the magic happens. And of course, my laptop too. But this is where the rest of the magic happens here. Once again, all peripherals and computer accessories are Corsair. Got the Corsair LCD mod as well on the AIO cooler. This is the Corsair 280X. I believe it's the Carbide 280X case. This computer is already going to be going on the 4 years old here in March or April of next year. Got the UPS, yes. Also, cable management, oof, right there. This area hasn't been finished. This is just kind of where I got to and then decided, you know what, I'm bored. I'll finish this later. And yeah, did I even mention the network cable that goes along the ground all the way outside to the router? It's ghetto, but it works. You know, so yeah, this is a CyberPower 1500 PFC LCD. This is a 2016 model. The batteries worked for just shy of 9 years, and I finally just did a battery replacement on this when I moved into the apartment back in January. So, brand new batteries as of January. I also have a new UPS that once again I've also had for 4 months, but didn't put it in until just a few days ago. Cable management as well, not great, but this is an Amazon Basics 800 volt amp UPS. So I've got the TV setup up here, including the lights. I got a Ring alarm and a network switch up there as well. And then the router and the Ring camera are on UPS backup power. See, this runs up to another little power strip. Lots of wires, lots of dust too. Back here I have a Ring alarm, a network switch, and the power strip. So that powers the TV, soundbar, the lights, and everything else I just mentioned up there. I'll finish this later, famous last words. Yeah, you're right. You are right about that. And also, you know, I didn't mention any of the tech that I've gotten on any of my channels yet. Eventually, I have to go through all my unboxings I have over the years and probably make an unboxing compilation for my other channel, my other MWT99 channel. It's MWT99 Vlogs. So only at 5 subs right now. The channel's been dead for a couple of years, you know, completely unmanaged. You know, life just gets the best of you sometimes, and it is what it is. So I've got about 3 years worth of backlogged videos that I can put together for the vlog channel. But if you guys want to go check that out, I do have a few vlogs on there from when I first launched the extra channels back in 2023. MWT99 Vlogs. I believe it's spelled Milton Watt Tech 99 Vlogs, but it's at MWT99 Vlogs if you guys want to go look at that. A link to it can be found in my or on my main channel as well. I have a few different channels. I talked about Puget Sound Stormwatch as well. That's the one I use most often. I go live streaming on there a lot. I have this one, the main channel, Milton Watt Tech 99 Productions. I have the vlogs channel, my music channel, Soundstorm Trance Radio. And I actually have a channel that I may want to be starting up that started with my Google Plus account back in 2013. So slightly after I made Milton Watt Tech 99 Productions, which started out as Milton Washington Tech 1999 or Milton Watt Tech 99. I know that's a huge tongue twister, but that started, I believe, May 31st of 2013. And then this Google Plus YouTube account started sometime in July, I think. But I haven't used it. It's literally, it's hidden from existence. No videos, no subs, no anything. Completely private. You know, I have a feeling because I've questioned rebranding this channel to something different. Like one name that really came across to me was Jet City Sirens and EAS. Or possibly Tahoma Sirens and EAS, something like that. And then transfer all of my non-weather or Siren and EAS train, etc. tech videos over to that private channel and start it up again. It's just my name, Anthony Croyle. So it would literally be Anthony Croyle. And just like the popular tech channels like Austin Evans, for example, is a really good one. He doesn't have any fancy name, it's just his name. And I'd be moving all of the non-Siren EAS or weather memorabilia, all of those tech videos, like all of my Govee lights and my setup tours and all my setup tech, everything would be moved over to that main channel. And then, not sure if I would keep the MWT99 brand or rebrand it if I were to just go Sirens EAS. And who knows, maybe one day I'll go back to the track side regularly. You know, I just know right now that the budget is very tight. And so I don't want to use too much of my gas if I don't have to. My vehicle's also not running great whatsoever. You know, if you guys watched my live stream from when I went down to Nisqually last month, my first live stream since like 2014, I think, on this channel. My vehicle was going back and forth between 5 and 6 cylinders. It was not fun. Well, since then, one of my front wheel bearings has really started to start grinding a bit, and so I'm kind of flustered about that. So I really want to try and hold it off until next spring or summer. But if the issues get worse, then I'll have to do the work over the winter, and just not looking forward to doing that. Or also spending money on any replacement car parts if it comes down to that. Just, it's unfortunate that all of this had to happen, you know, as soon as I quit my full-time job to work online under my own brands. But sometimes you just got to say it is what it is. I just really don't want to have to go through another breakdown again. If you know what I'm saying here. Yeah, maybe I'll give you guys a teaser here for the BTS on the live stream. So this is the most recent clip I have here. This is embarrassing. This is the first time I was ever approached by people during a siren test. See, I was trying to play it off dumb at first. But luckily, these were really, really nice guys. came in and questioned me. They were like, hey, you see behind you where all those windows are? That's the management. And they're just like, what is this guy doing out here? And then they chit-chatted for a while until the siren sounded. And then they were talking about how actually there was a while. So then it activated. Actually was a while where the siren didn't sound, supposedly. And so after a little chitter-chatter, they finally let me go. The first time I've ever been approached during a siren test directly. Not really much after that, I think. I think I addressed the camera once. Yeah, after the test here. Almost, but they thankfully let me stay there for the time. I said, I'll be out of here in 5 minutes, and they were cool with that. So yeah, just a little teaser. My BTS, when I got this iPhone 13 Pro Max, I started recording the BTS on this. Cortez Buchanan says, I'm back. Welcome back. Yeah, I was just showing a little exclusive BTS here, so I'll skim through this again. But anyways, I was approached by these two guys here from the business next door while I was filming, and luckily they let me stay for the duration of the siren test. Two really nice guys, honestly. I think Gary and John were their names. They said, if I ever come back next time, come back into the business and ask for Gary or John. But I don't intend on filming this siren on their lot anytime soon. Since I already filmed it, I got really good film quality out of all of my cameras. The audio, it's next to the busy road, so audio was sort of troublesome, but still wasn't terrible. I was recording with the Tascam DR05X as well as the Tascam DR40. And I was trying to hurry to take some wide shot photos of the siren, but unfortunately it just didn't work out. So I said, screw it. Maybe I'll come back some other time and take some wide shot photos. But I definitely got a tight shot photo of the head. Literally just a screenshot of the video. But yeah, here's a lot of the video clips here. This absolutely ridiculous number of BTS videos from over the years. Like, geez, look at how different I was looking back then. Back then with the buzz cut and the short beard. That was back in 2019. Actually, I don't think I recorded any siren tests between 2019 and 2022. I tried recording the new modulator at Fife High School when I discovered it back in June of 2020, I think, but the entire system did not go off. And I don't know if the BTS from that still exists, but I know I just had one long clip of a camera on the tripod just waiting for that thing to go off. But yeah, lots of BTS with the Sound of Transit on here, formerly known as Wah Sirens 07. Also have several with Trains of the Cascades as well. See, like that's where I met him here. Alex Crapo, Trains of the Cascades. Really cool guy. I met up with him in Nisqually last month for our failure. Still never figured out what their test schedule actually is, unfortunately. So I think I'll just have to leave it be. But yeah, here's the BTS from July. Modulator at the Elks Club down in Puyallup. And then, hey, Seattle Wa Sirens, if you're still watching, here's the BTS from when I met you. Except I think maybe you made that, like, the back of your head made like a 2-second cameo in this. And then this was from the test in Mayfield in February. A lot going on here. This was the test over on Ocean Shores that failed partially. And then this was October of last year, recording the new 8032B in Sumner at Riverside Park. This is also the test where I recorded the siren in Ording with TSL Tyler, one of my old friends. He's actually the guy that got me into fire alarms at first. You know, him and I lost communication early in 2013, and then we met up again in 2024, the first time in 11 years. It was a really cool and heartfelt reunion for sure. Let's see, I just had a wide shot here. And then Tyler also took some shots with his phone too that I'll be including. I just don't have them accessible yet. He said, I had that same Ocean Shore siren fail last year. Yeah, I believe it. Yep, there's TSL Tyler, business owner now, Action Entertainment. And this is when the Sound of Transit and I went out to Lake Cushman. We discovered the siren does alternate wail. It really, really threw us for a loop. Wish you guys could see the looks on our faces better. Look at me going, what? Then we were both like, oh my lord. The last signal we expected this siren to do was alternate wail. And then there they are again. I've got almost 5 hours of BTS, and I'm noticing I'm missing some clips too. Like I'm missing the main clip from, I think this is March of last year. So I keep having to go back to my laptop to fish these out and put it on my SSD as seen here. The only known siren that does alternate wail in Washington to Seattle Wa Sirens, the only known one. So we still got 4 of you guys hanging around. I got to shave here soon. So yeah, do you guys have any additional questions to ask so we can keep the momentum going? Alex says, well, crap. Yeah, so depending on how December's weather outlook is looking, I may be able to go out to a siren test this December. You know, I think November of 2023, when I went out to South Prairie, that was the only November test I've recorded, like, going out to a siren ever, I think. I know I didn't go out November of last year, and I can't recall if I've ever gone out to a December test up close. I've recorded ambiances in the past, but I'm just not sure if I've ever done an up close siren test in December. You know, I've been to so many of them around the area now that it's just very difficult to recall. But who knows, this could be the first. Accidentally stabbed a Coca-Cola can, opening Costco-sized pallet of Coca-Cola Zero. Rest in peace, Coke. Rest in peace. Even including some BTS of the fails in here that never made it to YouTube as well. Like January of last year, so January of 2024, coming up on the 2-year anniversary of that fail. New Year's Day. The sirens always went off on New Year's Day, beforehand. But this last New Year's Day, trying to make sure I have the years right. This is 2024 because this was before I broke my toe. So yeah, 2024, I tried recording the northernmost modulator in Puyallup, which I eventually recorded with Seattle Wa Sirens in April of this year. But I tried recording that in nothing. I had the DR05X in the middle of town in someone's driveway, basically, and got absolutely nothing. Yeah, December doesn't have a good... I had the word there for a second. Doesn't have a good reputation. I was going to go there, but traffic. Yeah, actually, it's funny because at first, when I pulled up and I saw the kid and their family get out of the car, I actually thought that was you, Alex. And then it turned out to be Seattle Wa Sirens. And please feel free to let me know what you identify as, Seattle Wa Sirens. Because I could have sworn you said your name was Owen, but I know that there's another Owen in our little siren group. So feel free to correct me, whatever name you want to go by. That's what I'll gladly call you. Got stuck at North Sumner. Yeah, North Sumner I recorded April of 2024. That and the DSA up in Lake Cushman were the last siren tests before I broke my toe in April. And I didn't record another siren until I went to the DSA on the port in June, and that test was kind of a disaster. It was a drone only. Yeah, I know. Alex, I know that Evergreen State Sirens is Owen, but at one point I could have sworn there were two Owens because I thought that Seattle Wa Sirens was also Owen. So please forgive me if I'm using the wrong name, but you usually go by Willow. Okay. Thank you for that. I'm just got to start cutting down 5 hours worth of BTS. Not quite sure if I want to go the route to do color correction on everything because that's just going to take ages. So I may just have, it completely raw, honestly. Okay, Seattle Wa Sirens did go by Owen at one point. Okay, good. So, yeah, because it confused me at first when I first heard that you said your name was Owen earlier this year, and I thought, we swear we have another Owen. Yeah, so thank you for the clarification, and sorry again for using your wrong name. And the one thing about me is I genuinely don't care what your orientation or your beliefs are. Just treat me with respect, treat others with respect. You get my respect. That is all that matters, is respect to me. And I'm just going through all of these days with the short beard. Been rocking the long beard since the very end of 2023. I started growing it out November of 2023, sort of for Movember, which is No Shave November, but I just decided to start cleaning it up a bit using pomade here and there, and now we're longer beard, and I've been longer beard ever since. But if I do end up having a job interview anytime this next year, it's going to have to come off. That's how it's going to go, but it'll be growing it back from scratch, which should be fun. Find it funny we've recorded the same 6048 1 year apart. You're right. Almost exactly a year apart. That is true. Just going through Facebook and a few other sites here. Feel free to ask any more questions, guys. We're going just over 50 minutes here, so I'd like to at least make it towards an hour. It's Saturday, so I thought it was a good time to get a stream in, assuming there would be more people in here. I think we did hit 14 people at one point, though, but now we're just kind of hanging around, just a couple regulars, which is not a bad thing at all, but I'm trying to get the watch hours up so we can get the memberships and everything on. Because I do want to eventually enable YouTube memberships on this channel. That way I can give you guys all the BTS and everything unedited on there as well. And then you'll also get like cool emojis to use and cool symbols next to your names, shout outs at the end of every video, and so on. I was going with a Patreon at one point, but it never took form. So I eventually turned the Milton Watt Tech 99 Patreon into the Puget Sound Stormwatch Patreon, which I use daily now, multiple times a day. I'm starting to build up a good membership on Puget Sound Stormwatch on the Facebook page and the Patreon page, but once again, still don't have the watch hour qualification on the YouTube channel for either YouTube channel. I would 100% get a membership if you enable it here. Thank you very much, Willow. I'll make sure it's not expensive too. It's all going to be budget friendly. It's probably going to be, my initial price is probably going to be $1.99 or $2.99. Just depends on if YouTube gives me any problems with it. Because I know Patreon, when I set the membership to $1.99, it was like, hey, this might be too low. I'm just like, well, too bad. I'm not going to scalp my viewership for weather that should be free. But if they just want to support me personally, all proceeds go back into the channels and the recordings and so on, then I'll make it extremely budget friendly. So it would most likely be in the $1.99 to $2.99 per month window. And that's at least for tier 1. I may make it so that tier 1 is where I'd release, all of the unedited videos and maybe some of the deleted videos that I've had in the past, because I do have some videos that are deleted that I have kept too, that I can put back on the membership page. So I'll probably do them in $2 increments. So it would be $1.99 for tier 1 and then $3.99 for tier 2. And I'm just trying to get everything sort of formulated now. I'm still less than half of where I need to be from the 3,000 watch hour points, which is the store link. And also, I've been thinking about MWT99 merch, but I don't think I'm popular enough for that. I know I have, and I don't have enough designs also. I could come up with some designs for sure, but most of my merch is Puget Sound Stormwatch. So if you guys want any, local Puget Sound Stormwatch merch, I can 100% redirect you guys to a link, especially with Black Friday coming up too. There's a lot of things on the table for the future that I want to do, but it's just a matter of, do I have the motivation to do it? I have the time, but do I have the drive to do it? The reality is I really need to be pushed to do these things. Sort of my little mini rant for the day. I saw your message on Discord, Alex. Said can that I stabbed. Yeah, that's a pretty clean stab you got there, for sure. Yeah, I know one thing's for sure. I've been editing the BTS for a while, so I think I'm going to take a break on editing the BTS for a little bit. Trying to get my shot selection set to the music. You know, I'm thankful I have the trial for Adobe stock. I actually didn't cancel the trial in time, so now I'm on a yearly contract for Adobe stock, which is an extra like $30 per month on top of the 60 I'm already paying for Adobe Creative Cloud. So there's like 90 to $100 a month after taxes just on Adobe. I have probably around, let me see here, probably around 25 seconds worth of little like 3-second clips to put together. Then I can come up with titles and whatnot for the transitions. Because one thing I really like to do is edit to cinematic music, and I'm thankful that Adobe Stock has some really cool templates for this too. A lot of never before seen clips on this teaser coming up. Ooh. Kitchen scissors are no joke. But what about those kitchen knives, though? Okay, let's see here. There are points. Okay. Oh, look at that. We have green screen too. We're not going to do that though. These are just some features So that's lighting on and off. There's some features because I don't stream on mobile too often. The first time I ever streamed on mobile was when I was going out to Nisqually, and the signal unfortunately cut out at the Fort Lewis entrance. You know, even though it just continuously looped the video until I got out to Nisqually. You know, I still saw the comments coming in, and it said, "Hey, dude, your signal cut out." But I was already at a point where I couldn't stop on the freeway, so I just had to kind of let it be. You know, a data booster probably would have helped, but man, if I had access to Starlink, you already know I'd be using it regularly. Of course, after after the budget becomes reestablished, I get a fair amount of donations and subscriptions on a monthly basis to help to pay for Starlink and of course for gas and everything as well. And of course, the biggest thing is doing the repairs on the vehicle. That's the number one priority, is getting the repairs done. You actually have a Starlink Mini, huh? Are you using the 50 gigabyte kit or are you using the unlimited? Because the 50 gigabyte limit probably goes through it like that fast. 50 gigabyte. Yeah, I could imagine with the bit rate that phones and other devices stream at nowadays, especially the download. The download speed probably burns through that 50 gigs real quick. Like nowadays, 50 gig is nothing. I'm using the T-Mobile Starlink, but it only works for certain apps right now, and I don't believe you can stream on it. No, I enabled the T-Mobile Starlink after Nisqually, and when I found out that there was only a limited selection of apps that you could use for it, I was like, well, darn, that kind of sucks. Kind of takes streaming on the road out of the equation. Maybe. Can't afford that unlimited. Yeah, I believe it. I saw the unlimited plans and I was like, oh boy, yeah, that's not happening. Would be cool for storm chases though, but infrequent storm chases, like once a month, where you burn up all 50 gigs in one session. All right, just crossed an hour. Sweet. Okay, let's see here. Get a few sites on here now. So let me show you some stuff from Puget Sound Stormwatch. So this is the Patreon page that I have right now. See, so all of my blog posts here on Facebook, look at that, 32K followers. All my stuff on Facebook is cross-posted over to Patreon. And actually, I didn't notice really that a lot of the logo is cut off by the circular profile picture here, while my main profile pictures are always square. So I may have to recalibrate the design a little bit to account for the circular shape, which sucks, but you know, it is what it is, honestly. There's me. But yeah, I have that Patreon going. I also have the merch shop for Puget Sound Stormwatch as well. Currently have 5 designs, but I want to release more for Black Friday. So you eat, sleep, Stormwatch, repeat. And then, of course, this is a pretty cool site. This is Ko-Fi or Coffee. ko-fi.com/Puget Sound Stormwatch. Depending on if I can make multiples of these, I would definitely start one up for the MWT99 channel as well. See, because I've received 128 coffees from 42 supporters, and 2 of them are actually monthly donators of 2 coffees. So some really, really cool ways to donate here. I do have a couple of ways to donate as well if you guys are interested in one-time donations here on YouTube. I have a PayPal and a Venmo account. I want to see if I can get those pulled up real quick. Just in case anyone here feels generous. I need to switch accounts first. Yeah, we're at 1,251 subscribers here on YouTube. Thank you guys. You guys are all real ones for that. Let's see, where are my defaults at? There they are. It's funny because I use really old photos for when I had when I first set up the PayPal and Venmo accounts. Doesn't look anything like me, honestly. Okay. I thought it would be simple to comment, but weird. Is there no way to comment on the mobile platform? Excuse me. See, I also had the spam filter off, so just making sure that I didn't miss any comments. I don't think I did, so we're good there. Does it allow me to reply? No, I guess not. It's weird. I may be able to pull up the stream on PC. Sorry guys, I'm just kind of dinking around with this right now. Bear with me here. Let me pull this up on a different tab real quick. Yeah, I can comment on... It's weird, I can comment on this part. Streaming on mobile is way different compared to PC. Oh yeah, 100%. You just make sure it's not feeding back through the microphone right now. Jeez, God, do I really look like that on PC? Yeah, so there's a link to PayPal. It's also got, I think, around a 10-second delay or so. And then there's the Venmo. In case anyone's feeling generous today. Okay, so I wasn't actually live. I was a couple seconds behind. So now there's only around probably a 5-second delay or so. But yeah, I also didn't want to test the horizontal live stream at first because I felt like most of the people watching this would be watching mobile. And when you watch horizontal videos on a vertical device, it crops it down to like that. And that's just not attractive. Jeez. I gotta get some water. Hang on. That helps. Water time. Yes, do not forget your water time. I went that whole hour plus without taking a sip of water. That's definitely far from ideal. Yeah, I'm most likely going to go live on Puget Sound Stormwatch tonight too. Someone just set me up with a new software, actually. Someone set me up with the new software on OBS to simulcast to YouTube and Facebook at the same time for free. And I really like the layout of it right now. It just needs to be tested. And I think today would be the perfect time to test it this afternoon. I've been going to the gym for the last 4 days in a row. And for like 4 to 5 days since the beginning of November. So probably the last 12 to 13 out of 21 days, I've been going back to the gym. I've also been doing a huge calorie deficit the last week or so. First day was a complete water fast, and the rest of it has been maybe 1 or 2 small snacks a day, most of them fruits though, and also protein bars. So I'm trying to shed a lot of the fat that I've gained over the last couple of years or so. Because actually, I noticed that after I got COVID for the first time in 2021, before that I was pretty skinny, but after that I started gaining weight pretty quickly and I never was able to lose it. So this is actually the culmination of weight, and even then I'm not fat. I'm just slightly overweight is what my doctor told me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something about it. So as soon as I turned 26 on November 1st, I went through with it, and I've been doing that since, and I feel great. I'm here, Mr. Speedcat. Hello. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend. Trying to make sure I don't distract myself here because I have the phone streaming down here and then I'm looking up on my PC with the live feedback. Oh, it's me, Kat from Discord. Okay, hello. Welcome. Did not know that was your actual channel. Please forgive me. Yeah, I'm going through some of my shorts as well. So actually, I'm going to mute that, turn my volume all the way back up. I can just make sure that the quality doesn't start dropping down on the video part. So then I know that everything is a-okay. So yeah, trying to turn things around before I eventually, and unless I have like a life-changing sponsorship or something with any of my brands, it's looking like the online work gig will be coming to an end sometime in January. Is that a laughing symbol? Can't tell if that was a laughing symbol or a smiling symbol. Deborah Graham 5053. What game do you play? So I'm actually not really a gamer, surprisingly. This setup, for the most part, is really just for productivity and streaming. You know, which may sound like a waste, but it's a really good computer for editing videos as well as producing music as well. Because I also produce music in FL Studio. You know, I produce a lot of trance music, and I have links to my tracks on Soundstorm Trance Radio. You can also find that on my channel as well. It's one of my other channels, Soundstorm Trance Radio. I'm getting ready to drop an album on there soon, but not The Last of Us. That's my favorite game. Yeah, so this isn't primarily a gaming channel. So Deborah, you may have found me just because I'm live streaming right now, and you're probably finding a lot of live channels. This actually isn't a game channel. This is more of a sort of weather-based channel, kind of, and a technology-based channel. It's sort of a technology and weather hybrid. So, you know, I'm one of several guys on here who has niche hobbies, as some would call them. So I go out and I record warning sirens, and I also have a weather radio collection where I record what are called EAS alerts, or emergency alert system. You know, I'm not super open about it to everybody just because, you know, a lot of people think it's weird, and of course they say it's niche. But that's that. You know, so I just wanted to throw that out there so that there's no misconceptions about me, and just making sure that we're all on the same page. So yeah, Deborah Graham, this is not a gaming channel whatsoever. I can't tell you the last time I've really actively gamed. Closest thing I do for music is drums. Hey, that's fine, Kat. That is just fine. Yeah, I haven't even used my Xbox One in several years. My Xbox One's on display in the living room, along with my first gen PS3 that I picked up 9 years ago. I used it for a while, and then I got the Y-Lod. So I reflowed the solder in the motherboard, and it worked for a while, and then I got the Y-Lod again. So I just decided, you know what, this is going to be for display only. So I've got a display of 8 of my gaming consoles outside. You know, and actually, while we're on that topic, we can go back and do a little tour of that now, shall we? So yeah, out here with the couch, I got the first gen. I think this is the 80 gigabyte PS3. It's not the PS2 backwards compatible model. So I believe it's either the 40 gig or the 80 gig. And then this is my first gen Xbox One here. I think this is a 2013 or 2014 model. And of course, my retros are on the wall here. Got my little PS1 up here. This is the PlayStation Slim, aka PS1. Got the first gen PlayStation here. This one's custom painted red and black. Custom painted red and black NES. Dreamcast, of course, one of my favorite consoles here. Silver GameCube. I got this one and this one at a Goodwill outlet about 9 years ago. And I picked several of these up on eBay as well. The Dreamcast and the PlayStation are from eBay. I think the NES was probably eBay. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then my favorite console of all time, the PlayStation 2. I picked a brand new one up in 2016. I sold my original one in 2015 to fund my computer build that I did 10 years ago. And that PC is also in the closet too. But they just discontinued Windows 10 support, so unfortunately that PC has like little to no resale value now, unless you decide to use Linux or you decide you don't want any Windows 10 updates anymore. But yeah, this PS2 I picked up in 2016. I think this is also eBay if I recall correctly, but it has the hard drive and network adapter on it too. You know, unfortunately, I sold a bunch of my original games and controllers as well, but I was able to pick up another controller, another memory card. So, you know, a lot of memories right here. I've been playing the PS2 with my uncle since probably 2005. And, you know, my uncle's no longer with us, so it's one of my best memories of him. But yeah, this is my console collection. Also have an original Xbox back at the old house too. And then we have some 7th gen consoles. So we have an Xbox 360 Slim, an original Nintendo Wii, and a PS3 Slim back at the house that I may want to build another wall for those here eventually, but I'm just not 100% sure about that. But yeah, weather radios all around the apartment. All right, Willow says my 80 gig PS3 is completely dead. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of those get the YLOD, the yellow light of death. I gotta plug my phone in real quick. Been so into this stream. Let me see if I can set the phone down here for a second, as flat as possible. So into the stream that I almost forgot to take my vitamin supplements for the day. So I guess this is a little sort of BTS vlog for you guys too. So I take multivitamins, of course, multivitamins. 2 of those every day. Yeah, if I were to fire up my PS3 right now, it would immediately give you the blinking yellow light of death. So I put my charger in a flimsy position. Show you guys like that for now. It's a little BTS day in the life, I suppose. Wind is certainly getting breezy outside, so I think tonight will be a good night to stream on Puget Sound Stonewatch. Also take turmeric curcumin. So these are the supplements I've been fasting off of for the last week. $200 milligrams of magnesium. Also take iron, B vitamins, zinc, and beetroot gummies. Really good stuff, honestly. If I was to ever have radios around the house, I would only do that during a severe weather event. They're not all in my room. Typically, it'll be my 12-258 or early, or EAR 10, not early. Yeah, so I don't keep any of my radios that are like desktop or wall mounted units. I don't keep those portable. Like, I don't use them off of batteries. I just keep them plugged into the wall all the time. It's just for convenience. Just kind of watching myself on the screen and looking at myself like, geez, this is really what I look like from down below. Lots of vitamins and supplements here. Let's go through some of your comments again. 258 cannot use the cord at all. I can try, but it will not turn on. Interesting. Works on batteries, but they drain them within a few hours or so. There may be some sort of electrical short with the power supply in it, perhaps. Here, let's run a poll for everyone that's on here right now. Just looking for some of your guys' feedback. Let's go ahead and launch that. So, would you guys like to see more live streams like this? That is the question on the poll. You know, some more like BTS in the life of Milton Washington Tech 1999. Especially during the downtimes when I'm not recording any sirens or weekly EAS alerts or any EAS events, if you know what I'm saying. Kat says, absolutely. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you, all three of you so far who have voted yes. Zio Ford, hello, have you played? I'm guessing you meant Fortnite, or you said Fortnite. So I'm not a gaming channel. This is more niche content for people who like notification devices, if you know what I'm saying. So if you're one of those people who are looking around the streams for people who are streaming live and think they're gamers, I'm unfortunately not part of the gaming community. At least not super intuitive into it. Maybe eventually I'd like to stream PC gaming just to get my name out there, perhaps. But right now, just not currently in the plans for any time soon. Played Fortnite and I got the Spider-Man skin. Yeah, I've never played Fortnite. I'll be honest with you right now. I just have never had a thing for any first-person shooters or anything like that. Like no Valorant, no Overwatch, no Fortnite. A lot of people can consider me to be boring. You know, that's just the way it is, honestly. You know, I'm not gonna change that for anybody or anything. All right, guys, I'm watching Discord as well on several screens. Because I'm looking over at my stream on the PC over there too. It's making sure it's not stuttering, so. Yeah, but unfortunately, Zio Ford, I don't do gaming. So if you're coming here to ask if I game, then unfortunately, I'm going to say you're on the wrong live stream. This is just to talk about more niche content relating to weather and technology, basically. But there's no gaming here. Sorry about that. Oh, you want to see the hats? Yeah, sure, I can show you the hats real quick. Starting from right to left, this is Gina's Pizza. This was given to me by my grandmother, also named Gina. Take me back to Indianapolis. Got this the first time I flew out to Indiana a couple years ago. We'll talk about 4 right now. Yeah, sorry about that. Perfecting the art of fresh. This is a work hat. So this was before I quit Safeway for the Fresh Cut crew. This is one of my Hollywood hats from my Hollywood 2018 field trip in school, my senior year for my broadcasting class. Got this in the Hollywood area. Seahawks hats. Just had these from collections over the years. Trojan hat from high school. Epic hat also from Hollywood. Got this in 2018. And a UW Huskies hat as well. I have a couple more hats as well. Let me see if I can find them real quick. There they are, up here in the closet. These are my Wisconsin and Minnesota hats that I got from this year. So this is Eau Claire, because that's the city we went to where my stepsister lives, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So we got that. And then Minneapolis, got this at the Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport. So I was really happy to mark 2 more states off of my adventure here. So yeah, we're definitely going to end that poll because I think we already know the answer to that. People want to see more live streams. But yeah, I got all of these at an Eau Claire gift shop. So yeah, that's the hat collection. Hey, I've been there. Yeah, honestly, the Minnesota, Wisconsin area is not too bad. You know, I don't plan on moving there. The only way I'd ever move out of state is if everything went completely south here and like, you know, don't even want to think about immediate family members dying off or whatnot. If the budget decided it was going to run out and like something happened and I couldn't keep the apartment, I don't currently qualify for any other apartments in the region because we have the 2.5 time income to rent ratio requirement. It was actually just luck, really, that I got this apartment because I saved up my holiday pay stubs for 2 weeks for Christmas and New Year's of this last year, and then used those to get the apartment, and I just barely squeaked by that requirement. That's the only way I got this apartment, and now I'm trying everything I can to keep it. I know lease renewal time is here, and they said that they would allow me to renew my lease, but I haven't heard back from the apartment complex yet. It's kind of iffy management here. They're under new management since I moved in. So if I go month to month, that's probably going to lessen the guarantee that I stay here, you know, and I really want to keep my own space. I really do. If I don't have to go back home where I was before, then I hope that I don't have to. You know, just because little bit of a personal story here, but things just you're in Barbados. All right. Yeah, so you know things were going south with my family back at the house that I've lived in literally like out of the last 15 years, 12 out of the last 15 years. From 2010 to 2015 and then from 2017 to 2024. Like I moved out at the very beginning of 2025. So you can technically consider that first like 17 days of 2025 as living there. It's just, you know, tough environment at tough times right now. This is a little bit of a side rant. You know, I love Washington State. Trust me, I love it. I wish I could stay here for the rest of my life. But if the time comes where I have to move, then I guess so be it. But I'm hoping it doesn't come down to that. If I were to somehow lose the apartment in any way, shape, or form and things were to go south again where I was before, I'd probably have to vacate out of state. But yes, I do love Washington State. Some people are streaming, some people don't talk to me. Sometimes people want to ignore me when I try to talk to them. I'm very sorry about that, Zio Ford. I'll definitely try to include people who are watching as much as possible, but I just want to post a little disclaimer that this is mainly talking about like outdoor warning sirens and weather radios and EAS and all of that. You're the best YouTuber, and I like your glasses. Thank you so much, Zio Ford. These glasses, I got them in August, shortly after I quit my job at Safeway. Probably one of the last times I'd see a private eye doctor who was recommended to me by another coworker, also a former Safeway worker, because my insurance discontinued with them on my birthday. So, unfortunately, I'm big time raw dogging this right now with pretty much no health insurance whatsoever. And I was on several medications before I had to give those up. So I'm kind of adapting to life without those sort of stabilizing medications. Like I said, this isn't stuff I usually address too often, but I do trust my audience enough to open up with you guys about this. Been taking medicine for antidepressants. Was a huge thing is antidepressants and anxiety control medication. Now that I'm not taking that, I do notice, yes, my anxiety is definitely up there. But now that I'm a fully grown adult, compared to the last time I stopped taking my anxiety medicine when I was a little kid, I actually think I was maybe just turning 18 because I had an insurance switch. My state insurance cut off when I turned 18, so I had to go through my work insurance. Had to get all my medications reset up again, and that was almost 8 years ago. Probably just a little under 8 years ago, and so that's the last time I was ever completely off my medicine. So I've been off of this since June actually because of a mistake from the pharmacy that I was with before, which sucks. But I eventually adapted to it, got over all the withdrawals, and going back to the gym regularly has really helped. Really helped my anxiety big time. It's improving both my personal image and my mental image. So, yeah, that's a little side rant for you guys. It looks like we just crossed the hour and a half marker. So, 7 of you guys watching now. Hello. Thank you all for liking, by the way. We got 4 likes. If you guys enjoyed the stream so far, feel free to give it a like. And if you scroll up a little bit too, I included links for one-time donations if you guys are interested in helping support the channel. I currently have PayPal and Venmo. But you absolutely don't have to. Just if you really like the content that I produce and all of that, feel free. Even if it's $1, I mean, all of it goes back into helping the channel. I do appreciate all of you guys for coming out here today and listening to all my side talks. This is just a little Q&A live stream and a little exclusive look at the behind the scenes that I'm firing up. Forgot to ask, do you use your 993 still? Not regularly. Let me actually see if I can pull that out of the closet for you real quick. Because, yeah, it's in the closet. You guys are going to see my old PC, too. This is Big Red. Started building this thing in 2015. Completed in 2016. My first PC built by myself. Replaced in 2022 by Little Red over there. Yeah. There's a laser. Got my 12382 with the dead tuner in here. Got to dig around a little bit here. There's the 12522. And then here's the 12993. You can tell if I hold it down, nothing. It's got batteries in it right now, but they are dead. It's also got a lot of junk around it. I think this is just caked on dust and all of that, but yeah, this radio does still work. I tested it with rechargeable batteries once. It does still work. I think my lacrosse radio is still in the backpack. Is the case sticky at all? Yes, it is. Just need to spread it with some Goo Gone, honestly. I guess I'll show you guys some camera stuff as well, like what I use to make all of the content possible. Got a few things up here too. I got my Synco G2A1 microphone here. Got the Tascam DR05X and my old iPhone XR. This is the one I used from 2019 to 2025. This was my regular phone. Mine came back like that, and I used rubbing alcohol, and after using it on the case, it was gone. Thank you very much for the tip, Kat. Let me put this, reverse it real quick so I can get everything open in this bag. So yeah, this is my Nikon Z50 right here. This is the camera that makes it all happen. Unfortunately, the ribbon cable is damaged now for the screen, so the screen does not work at all, which is very, very unfortunate. But I did get, this is one of my other Prime Day pickups from this year as well, which hasn't made it out public at all yet. Right after I cleaned my 1993, and I like it. So yeah, right now I have the 40mm on here. It does work through the viewfinder though. Just unfortunately not right now for some reason. But yeah, this is my Nikon Z50. I've had this since probably September of 2021, I think. This is the screen I just got in July. It also uses, I believe these are Sony batteries. But yeah, this is how I view the raw output from my camera since the screen, the LCD no longer works. Good thing is I can replace the ribbon cable if I wanted to. It's just not something of urgency right now, so I can just use the auxiliary screen and it will be fine. Got the drone, the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Picked this up in August of 2023. And you know, it's made a feature in, I think, every siren video I've recorded since then. It definitely changed the game for that, for sure. Controller for it. I got the standalone controller that doesn't use the phone. Well worth the money, 100%. So that way I can use my phone for BTS and just use the screen to record the drone and not have to sacrifice the BTS for the drone footage. My old reliable Tascam DR40. I've had this thing since 2016. I think I got this in September or October of 2016. And I've used it for practically every siren video I've recorded since then, including ambiances from the house. Like, was a game changer for audio. I got a Gorilla Pod as well. And my GoPro, which currently doesn't have a lens on it right now. This GoPro Hero 11. I got this back in 2022. I think they're on the Hero, they're for sure on the Hero 13. They might be on the Hero 14. I don't know if they released the Hero 14 yet. But this is the Hero 11 Black. I still have my Hero 3 Plus Black. If you guys are really OGs, you'd remember that I unboxed the GoPro Hero 3 Plus Black back in 2014. And I used that as my primary GoPro until I got this one. But even then, I really didn't use my actual GoPro for footage. At least through probably 2017, 2018 or so. It's been abandoned for like the last 7 or 8 years or so. So yeah, that's pretty much just a quick look at the camera gear that I have. Gotta keep some of this out though. Yeah, I've put thousands into my camera gear over the last, like really just over the last 4 years mainly. Do I have any regrets? Absolutely not. Best thing I ever did was invest into my channel. because I'm also investing into you guys, the audience, as well. I couldn't ask for a better audience to share it with. Each and every one of you guys. Like, my channel blew up in 2023 when I started filming like multiple siren videos a month. I took multiple trips up to Carnation. My Z50 is still dead, but at least my D3300 still works. I did not know your Z50 was dead. Or at least if I did, I don't remember. I was looking at my face on the big screen and I noticed something was off. Okay. Enough with the distractions, though. Enough with the distractions, for sure. Hopefully my phone doesn't fall down. Love that thing so much. I've heard good things about the D3300. I have definitely heard good things about it. I took a really corny photo for the thumbnail on this. Do I have a dog? I don't here at the apartment, but I do have 3 huskies back at my old house where my parents are. I've got 3 Siberian huskies here. Would do anything and everything for my dogs, honestly. And I really hope the day doesn't come where things get too bad at the house where we have to surrender them, if you know what I mean. I don't want to give away too much information about what's going on, so that's where I'm gonna leave it. I care a lot about my dogs and would do anything and everything to make sure they have a really good life. Just going back and looking at some Facebook comments. Currently tracking a weather system coming in, so I'm probably going to be busy on the Puget Sound Stormwatch channel tonight. I'm going to make sure I don't burn out my voice box on accident before then. My dad's D7200 stock lens, 18 to 140 millimeters. Heard some funny stuff about huskies. They're escape artists, and they're extremely stubborn. I'll tell you that. Didn't know until I know June now, because every single YouTube and I see, it'd be like sometimes. Never knew. They scream too, yes. All 3 of mine will howl at the top of their lungs when I pull up to my parents' house. Like every single time. It doesn't matter if it's been a day. It doesn't matter if it's been a couple hours. Sometimes it's 3 days, 2 days. I always get the same reaction, and it's a loud yelp that you can hear across the neighborhood. It gives me a smirk every single time. Classic husky behavior. I'm just glad they don't break out as often as they did at one point. There's one point where they were really, really huge escape artists, if you know what I mean, and this made things difficult to keep the fence intact when they were going after like squirrels and chipmunks, birds, rabbits. They've even dug up moles from time to time too. Time for another sip of water as well. go read some more comments here. You're lucky you've never got a Belgian Malinois. Those things will just jump the fence instead. Huskies are very good at escaping. Oh yeah, they're notorious for it. I hope I see that video too. I watched all your videos. Thank you, Xyloford. Oh, excuse me. For some reason, when I sit down in my chair for a while, all of the air comes back up and I just burp. Yeah, I'm currently just tracking some weather coming into the area. I do daily updates on my Facebook page, Puget Sound Stormwatch. 32,000 followers. I decided to do that full time back in August when things didn't go well with my union volunteering gig at my store. So I was the shop steward that represented my store, my Safeway store. And we didn't get the contract we wanted, so I had saved up money ahead of time, and I knew that this was going to be a thing. I saved up enough money to live off of it for a few months, just to try this thing out. And then if it didn't work, I'd be going back to work at a different place. So looking like that's what the case is going to be. You know, I like to go preferably into a hardware store if I had to start out. I've also been keeping track of possibly some entry-level jobs with a company called Action Entertainment, which is run by my friend Tyler, who I was talking about earlier in the BTS. YouTube user TSL Tyler. He owns his own entertainment company called Action Entertainment. And I know last year he offered me a part-time position, $34 an hour, to be a cable runner, and I stupidly turned it down to stay at Safeway. And look where that got me. Want to be when I grow up. I want to be a police officer. Yeah, best of luck to you. As long as you put your mind to it, it's all that matters. Put your mind to it. Don't back off the gas pedal anytime soon. And I'm 100% sure you'll get there. From what I heard, Huskies are also close to wolves too. Kind of, sort of. Two of the Huskies that I've had, like one that I had up until 2010 was half wolf. And a Husky that I have now that's 10 years old, he's a senior dog now, but he has a quarter red wolf in him. So it's common to see Huskies bred with red wolves. So I've noticed. Just checking out some weather models here. I know there's going to be some wind around here tomorrow, but not too much to be concerned about. Since the weather's been pretty calm around here recently, the ratings on my page have been down dramatically. So it's looking like we may get wind gusts of 33 miles per hour tomorrow morning sometime. I've been tracking the progress of this front, and it looks like it just keeps coming in earlier and earlier in the morning. Yeah, I can see why they howl a lot then. Well, they are from Siberia. They're bred to be sled dogs. And if you ever watched the sledding documentaries, then you know for sure what they're like out there in the wilderness. Can we stay on here longer? I suppose. I don't see why not. I'm really just looking at some weather stuff right now for my other brand here. The phone keeps sliding. Yeah, but for sure, since you guys said you want to see more live streams, I will gladly do more live streams. 100%. especially during the slow time when there's no videos planned. Gotta go for now, Anthony. See you. All right, take care, Alex. Have a good one, my friend. Yeah, so more short content as well. I made the announcement a while back to begin putting out more short form content, and it was definitely a huge success. You know, we've garnered up to nearly 15,000 short views in the last 30 days or so, which is a huge increase from what I had before. Not counting all of my shorts from before, where I did all of my Govee Light shorts, which are the most popular shorts on my channel. I've been recycling a lot of my old content as shorts and rebranding it. So, you know, that has done. If this view gets, trying to read that number, 1 million subscribers. Maybe one day, but we're a long ways from there. A very long ways from there. Typically, I'm not really into huskies, dog-wise, especially if I want to train them to do stuff like tricks and all of that. I go for Malinois due to the fact that they will do anything for food or a toy, and their energy could be a big advantage to that. I will say when it comes to dogs, to each their own. To each their own for sure. My family has had a huge husky niche for as long as we've had dogs in our family, since 2009. You know, when my mom met my stepdad had 2 huskies, and we brought those 2 huskies over, and 6 huskies later, here we are. How has the iPhone 13 Pro Max been doing since the upgrade from the 10R? Miles ahead of the 10R. And one thing I noticed was the 10R, the screen started to ghost when I would scroll up and down on apps. The frames would ghost between one another. And I mean, the load times on the apps, and especially the camera, was just insufficient for what I wanted. And actually, I ended up missing like the beginnings of a few EAS alerts that have come out of thin air over the years, just because of how slow the camera has been to open. Now this one, I just give it a triple tap on the back. I literally triple tap it on the back, and it just flings the camera wide open. I just have to make sure it's in video mode. But everything about the 13 Pro Max is miles ahead of the 10R. When are you gonna do another Zoom? Is that what you're asking? When am I gonna do another Zoom? Or like another stream? Because not too sure about when the next stream's gonna be. So that's why I'm answering as many of your questions and going into depth about a lot of things right now, because I'm not 100% sure when the next time's gonna be when I stream. And who knows, I may even do some streaming on the PC as well. Never been around a husky before. I've been around other breeds like golden retrievers, corgis, pit bulls, boxers, beagles, rottweilers, and a few mutts alongside a few chihuahuas who are monsters. I can vouch for chihuahuas being monsters for sure. So my mom and dad have been separated for pretty much as long as I've been alive. So I pretty much lived 2 different lives outside of what I do now. You know, I have my mom's side and my dad's side. I've only lived with my dad's side for 2 years. That's the gap I was talking about between 2015 and 2017. So in 2015, like, I think right around November 2015, after I turned 16, you know, I was moved into my dad's house. I'm not saying I moved. I was forcefully moved over to my dad's house. I stayed there for 2 years until November of 2017 when I turned 18, and then I moved back to my mom's house, where I stayed for another just over 7 years until I moved out completely on my own here. So I lived with my dad for 2 years, and they've always been huge pug fans. And so we've had pugs for the longest time, but then they went from pugs to German shepherds. And we actually still had a pug up until earlier this year when we put our last pug down. She was a whopping 16 years old. But now at my dad's house, they have 3 German shepherds. And so they've turned into German shepherd people. So it's huskies at my mom's house, German shepherds at my dad's house. I missed my phone's recording of that tornado warning back on the 5th because it takes a while to open the camera. Yeah, that's tough. I also regret not going back into my Nest Cam history and downloading the November 2024 tornado warnings that we got that night. I was out at a monthly union meeting, and we got 3 tornado warnings over WXM62. And because I was, it sucks to talk about it, but I was so down in the dumps at this time. I just didn't care. I just really didn't care about the channel and the EAS and the sirens, and that's why I went completely inactive between like April of 2024 and can't even remember what month I released my my new season trailer. It was probably July or August of this year, but I went completely inactive for over a year. I was just going through the roughest time in life and with my family, and I just have horrible memories of it. And so a lot of the times during that, outside of occasionally going out and recording siren videos during that hiatus, I just did not care about YouTube at that time. But I'm so grateful to have gotten back into the game and really revitalized this channel with all of you guys, my subscribers. And I couldn't be more grateful for everyone who is in here with me today, truthfully. Been around a few pugs too, very funny dogs. Quite a lot of dogs have been around, I just cannot remember them all. Yeah, unbelievably, I used to be a cat person. Because when I was a little kid, I would become heavily overstimulated by dogs. So I think my dad's side, we owned one dog before 2009. And we unfortunately had to give that dog up because it was an absolute terror. But then, they transitioned to pugs, and around the same time, my mom met my stepdad. And I was introduced to Huskies for the first time, but of course I wasn't really vibing, I guess, with the Huskies at first. Just because, once again, overstimulation, dogs jumping on you, when you're a little kid. It took a while for me to grow onto them, and eventually when my mom and stepdad moved in together and we brought the dogs over, that's when I finally got used to the dogs, and I've been a dog person ever since. But before that, my dad and his ex-girlfriend, before meeting my stepmom, they had cats before. And my mom had 2 cats, and my grandma, who lived next door to my mom, also had 2 cats at that time. So I was a huge cat person before. I don't mind cats nowadays. I wouldn't have a pet for myself right now. Just because, also, one, there's a pet deposit fee as well here at the apartments, but I only want to be responsible for myself, and that's it. If you know what I mean. I've just had so much hassle with my immediate family over the last couple of years. And I just want to take care of myself right now, because that's what matters the most to me. And that's what should matter the most to you, yourselves. Just remember that. The most important person in your life is you. Just your little daily words of wisdom from Milton Washington Tech 1999. In case you guys wanted that little sermon to kick off your afternoon. Let's see what we got here. My cat likes to start screaming every time. Oh, that's got to be funny. That's got to be really funny. We just crossed the 2-hour marker a few seconds ago. We're definitely dragging this on quite a bit. Is it okay if I leave? Because I want to go to another stream. I'll be on the mill. Yeah, feel free. Thank you for tuning in, Zio Ford. Smithers app says hello. Hello there. Hello. And Ashley Atkinson 5112 said hi. Hello. Welcome in. Thank you, whoever just liked the stream as well. This is mainly more of an open Q&A stream for the subscribers, but I'll gladly allow guests in as well. You know, I don't mind that. I've gone. Oh, another like. Thank you so much. This is mainly more niche technology and more sound maker related content, just to keep it really broad. All right, Zio Forward, take care. We'll see you around next time. Thank you for coming in. So yeah, the overall basis of this channel is mainly just all sorts of technology. But nowadays, it mainly revolves around outdoor warning sirens and weather radio tech. So, you know, kind of weird interests to talk about, I know, but there's thousands of channels out there that talk about the same thing. I have been subscribed for 2 years. I don't know how long. Thank you for staying subscribed, even during the downtime the last year or so. It really, really means a lot. You know, thank you for sticking with me during my lowest time as a YouTube content creator. Smithers app says that's cool. Yeah, the one thing I take pride in is having zero judgment on this channel. You know, this channel is welcome to anyone that wants to explore their niches. Mainly when it comes to sirens and EAS. And I was talking about too, a possible rebrand if I were to move most of my non-siren and EAS technology content over to another channel. So keep all my tech and reviews on one channel and then just make this channel solely sirens and EAS and possibly rail fanning if I get back into that. I don't think I've been like actually rail fanning in about 8 years. Like, what is EAS? So emergency alert system. So in case you see those alerts on your phone, like Amber Alerts and all of that, I actually have a pretty sizable collection of EAS detecting radios called NOAA weather radios here. And a lot of the videos on my channel revolve around these radios receiving alerts. However, 90% of the time, we get weekly tests that occur on Wednesday at noon. But there are some times, like most recently, on November 5th, one of my most recent videos I uploaded, I got a tornado warning randomly on these radios. And I'll occasionally get some special marine warnings as well. So yeah, really, it's a really niche hobby. But there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people on YouTube that post these things regularly. And you know what? I take pride in being part of the siren and EAS communities, as Kat was saying. I remember there's been times where the siren and EAS communities would make several attempts to bring me down, and I was almost at the edge of giving up. But luckily, I've been going since. Well, I guess that kind of contradicts what I just said, right? But what I want to do at some point is go to the NWS Seattle listening area during a severe weather event and get alerts that way. You have a cool setup. Thank you very much. I'm guessing your name is Smith. But I'll just call you Smithers app for now, just so I don't accidentally mess it up. But yeah, thank you. I do appreciate that. I do really, really appreciate that. Let's see here. Just looking at some weather models right now for my other page, Puget Sound Stormwatch. If you guys want to check out that YouTube channel, it's just Puget Sound Storm Watch. It's also, you can find it on my YouTube page as well and my other channels. Or if you go on Facebook as well, Puget Sound Storm Watch on Facebook. 32,000 followers there on Facebook and 1.15K subscribers on YouTube. It's crazy. My subscriber amount on that channel doubled in one day. We had a windstorm come through on October 25th, I was at like 523, and by the end of the night, I was at like 1,060 something subscribers, and I had almost 500 consecutive viewers at one point. It was absolutely insane. I would love to do that again because that gave me a huge jump in watch hours and one huge step closer to YouTube monetization on that channel. Let me go through the comments because I've seen a few come in. Sorry, I don't know a lot about the things you're in. That's okay. No problem at all. No judgment. I can get WXM62 from outside my house with certain radios, but I really wanted to get reception. I would drive to Kalama. Or Kalama. Still not 100% sure how that's pronounced, but I think it's Kalama. Night Owl 777 says OCD. That's part of it, yes. Extremely OCD on my part. Very rarely can I get WXM62 from my room. My word I cannot type, that's okay. It's weird because I don't see an area for me to actually type here on the YouTube comments too, which is unusual. Kayla Moore 223 says hello. Hello, welcome in. Glad to have you. Just sorry, gotta go. That's okay, Smith. Have a good day. Take it easy. We'll see you around next time if you're ever around. Yeah, so really this has turned into more of an informal kind of chat live stream. Going for around 2 hours and going on 7 minutes here in 1 second. Boom. 2 hours, 7 minutes. It just got another like at that point, so thank you guys. Can only get WXM62 clearly on my 120s. Kayla Moore says, where are you from? I am in Milton, Washington. So I'm in the area between Federal Way, Tacoma, and Puyallup here in Western Washington, specifically Pierce County. And I'm mainly focused on Siren and EAS content. So, you know, what the normal average Joe would consider weird niche stuff is what I focus on this channel. And so, you know, you may be one of those guys because I've had a couple of people bouncing around live streams just to see what's going on, what's out there. You're probably one of those guys. So I'll just introduce you to one of the niche topics, you know, the niche Siren and EAS community that's out there that is always growing. I like the fact that if I wanted to get WXM62 very clearly, I wouldn't have to drive too far away to get it. Yeah, so WXM62 is my clearest channel here. Every radio can get it. KHP60 is second. Some radios don't get it as easily as others. But some at least have a little bit of signal. WWG24 is where it really starts to cut out. There's only a couple radios that can pick up WWG24, like my WR120, sometimes my WR100, which is out in the windowsill in the dining room. But the WWG24 signal has been really degraded recently, so I haven't been able to pick it up on any of the radios out there. Actually, when I used to DX weather stations at one point, back in 2013 when I was just starting out the channel and I was what you would call a Siren and EAS kiddie, I literally, because at that point, I think I had 4 weather radios. My first 4 weather radios, my WR100, my 12382, 12522, and my 12093. I would sometimes take them over to my dad's house during weekly tests. So you'd notice the landscape change sometimes between required weekly tests and required monthly tests and all of that. Just randomly early on in my channel's history. But I'd take my WR100 over there, put batteries in it, and then go outside and DX sometimes. There were times I was able to pick up Environment Canada, and I even picked up, I think it's WNG 704, feel free to correct me, down in, I'd like to say Glenoma, down in Lewis County. But there was one time, yeah, it was either WNG 604, okay, 604. Thank you for the correction. WNG 604 or K8093. I might have been able to pick up K8093 one time because it was channel 6. But there's one time where I was at Snoqualmie Falls back in 2014. I took my 12993 with me, since that was my primary portable weather radio at the time. But yeah, I took my 12993 out to Snoqualmie Falls, and I was able to clearly pick up the Environment Canada channel on channel 1 from time to time over there. Seattle Wall Sirens Willow says, I DX with my version 15 HH54 VP. Yeah, it's just too bad my HH54 finally gave up. You know, the thing had a nice run. It lasted a little over 10 years, but unfortunately, I guess a move was just too much for it. Kat says he has a version 16 HH54 VP. Actually, before I picked up my HH54 VP in February of 2015, I was actually looking for a VP2 because I was down in Oregon visiting some family down there, and we went to Lloyd Center in Portland. And of course, Radio Shack was still around at this time. So we went to the Radio Shack at Lloyd Center, and I saw this HH54 VP, and of course I swooped that up. But I was looking at the time for a VP2, the one that had the dock, but I just couldn't find it. So I just went with the VP instead. And it ended up being one of my more reliable weather radios over the last 10 years or so. You know, I took it on my first trip to Indiana and picked up a few EASs on that. I took my HH54 VP, my 12993, and my HH50 to Indiana. But unfortunately, I was with family for the most part, so I only ended up getting 3 EAS alerts for the week or so that I was out there. One time in my hotel, my HH50 went off for the 1050 hertz for a severe thunderstorm watch. But it was late at night, so of course I had to shut it off immediately. Didn't even know it was on. It turned itself on. So just a little interesting story about that. I have docs for both of my HH54 VPs. They're both from version 15s, but the second one dumped the bed and had the same issue as your HH54 VP. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I brought it over here in the move back in January and it seemed fine. And then I took it out of the box again in March for the severe weather outbreak, and it never worked again after that. Even with the batteries or just the adapter or even both, nothing, you know? And it sucks to have these weather radios break. But like my Recom, you know, I could easily just replace it down the road. I just have to look in the right places. Milton actually had a Radio Shack at one point, and that's where I got my 12993, was the Milton Radio Shack back in 2014. A lot of my other Radio Shack radios were from the Radio Shack in the Commons Mall in Federal Way when they still had it. Like my 12522 and 12093, I got those at the Federal Way Radio Shack. And then I believe I think I got the rest of them on Amazon, as far as I know. Because I remember I got the 12519, 12996, and Eton SolarLink FR370 at around the same time. And then I think I got my Sangean afterwards, and my Sangean actually came DOA, kind of. The backlight started going out on it after a few uses, and so I ended up sending it back and getting a new working CL100 that has been in use ever since, and it's been going for over 11 years now. Did it make a few beeps randomly? Are you talking about the HH54? If you're talking about it made a few beeps, no, it did not. I know when I turned on the weather band, I would occasionally hear a hiss. It was a really quiet hiss, but only when I turned it on to weather band. Otherwise, it wouldn't make any sound at all. No button beeps, nothing. If I go traveling, I usually take my 12-259. Yeah, mine might be a different issue then. I didn't see any signs of battery acid corrosion or anything. It just literally, it worked, and then a few months later, it didn't. I actually haven't tested my 522 yet either, but I don't have any batteries right now to test it. All of my rechargeable batteries are being used in my camera equipment. The beep of death. Haven't heard of it. I'll be honest, I have not heard of it. Yeah, it's unfixable. They don't have any replacement parts anymore for that HH54 VP. You know, it's one of those discontinued ones that they no longer service. And of course, it's years outside of the warranty. So yeah, my only option would be to buy a new HH54 VP, or maybe I'll replace it with the VP2. Once I go back to work, we'll see. I was really hoping I didn't have to go back to work, but it's looking like I will have to go back to work in the next couple of months, because I'm starting to pull some money out of long-term savings, and it's just making my skin crawl knowing that I have to do that just to survive on a month-to-month basis. They are the same. So the VP2 is just a dock, right? Horn by Man 4474. I do have a sprinkler up there. Yeah. I have several sprinklers around my house. Around my apartment. I can show that to you guys real quick if you're interested in seeing the sprinklers. It's also weird. They're not flush with the ceiling for some reason. I got a sprinkler here. I also painted over them like a bunch of scrubs. Sprinkler in the closet up here. Got 2 sprinklers out here. Smoke alarm, carbon monoxide detector. We got another sprinkler in the kitchen. So there's 5. And then we've also got one up here in the laundry area. So I have 6 there, and then I think, I don't believe the bathroom has, no, okay, it does. Forgot about that. So 7. I have 7 sprinklers in my apartment. VP2 has a rechargeable battery pack and a dock. You're well protected from the fire. Absolutely. Can use regular batteries with the VP2 as well, which is nice.
Port Townsend, cloudy 54.
Let's look at some of this history since I last reset it. This goes back to August of 2025. So here's the 1159 required weekly test. So the next week, August 27th. September 3rd, weekly test. September 10th, weekly test. So you get the gist here. It's pretty much all weekly tests. September 17th, September 24th, October 1st. And then special marine warnings. We had a marine warning event the same day as the test on October 1st. So we got 4 marine warnings that day. Weekly test on the 8th. Weekly test on the 15th. The monthly test for the shakeout drill. This actually was supposed to occur at 10:16, but WXM62 went down during the test, and they ended up postponing it another hour and 5 minutes to 11:21. But it actually, this is a minute behind, so it went off at 11:22 on the dot. And then October 22nd, October 29th, weekly test, and then the random tornado warning we got on November 5th, the day that they canceled the test. This was at 5:52, so actually 5:53. And then November 7th, and November 12th, November 19th. That was the most recent one. So we're at the 20 logs, and this log's up to 25. So after the 25th one, it'll start to roll over the previous alerts in the log. So yeah, this is the reason why I think the Recom R1630 is my favorite weather radio, just because of the alert history. Horn by Man 4474 just subscribed. Thank you so much. Got Spokane's monthly test for the shakeout drill, and I have video. Zio Ford, welcome back. Since you make a video, how do you add words in it? Well, I use editing software, so I use Adobe Premiere Pro Creative Cloud. Cool, few cool lamps here too. This is my Govee tree floor lamp that was released this year, so I picked that up for a discount. And I've got my Govee uplighter floor lamp here in the corner as well. This one actually has a projector up top, so it'll project images on the ceiling during the nighttime. You know, it's got a little cool kaleidoscope feature on it. But yeah, I add words on my videos. If you're talking about subtitles and text, I add it through Premiere Pro CC, Creative Cloud. In this case, I'm using the 2025 edition. You got a nice house. Thank you very much, Horn by Man 4474. It's a little 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, 725 square feet. It's enough for what I needed to do. And that's just house me and keep my stuff safe. Do you play Roblox? I've never played Roblox either. Yeah, I've never caught on to any, like, I've never really been a gamer. If I game, it's retro. That's why I collect so many retro consoles, as you guys probably saw. You know, I've always been a huge fan of Super Mario Bros. And all of those games. But yeah, my childhood really revolved around retro games. So like Pac-Man's huge for me. All of the Namco and Bandai games, all of that. One issue I had when I was in Spokane was the reception. GTA 6 has the approximate release date. I've never actually caught on the Grand Theft Auto either. So, you know, people can call me a loser for it all they want, but I just don't really see the joy in gaming nowadays, unless it's playing retro games or emulation. Because I actually 10 years ago I used to emulate some of my own old games. Like I used the Dolphin emulator for GameCube and Wii, for example, and EPSXE for my old PS1 games as well. I'd play Crash Bandicoot sometimes on the PSX emulator on PC. Like your dogs, are really cute. Really want to meet them. maybe someday. We'll see. Maybe someday. All right, guys. Reason why I couldn't join back because I had to take a shower. We're on just crossed 2 hours and 24 minutes. Think we're gonna wrap this thing up real shortly because I gotta save my voice for a test live stream on Facebook and YouTube tonight for my other channel, Puget Sound Stormwatch. Mario Kart World is on the Nintendo Switch 2. If I were to pick up a newer console, it would definitely be the Switch 2. 100%. When it comes to retro games, my favorite has always been Nintendo. You know, love Super Mario Bros., Super Mario World, Super Mario Galaxy, Mario Kart, Mario Party, you name it. Played Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario 64. I mean, the list just goes on. I actually dressed up as Mario for my 10th birthday in 2009. Because my birthday was the day after Halloween, so I had a birthday party / Halloween party, and we all dressed up, and I dressed up as Mario. It was pretty cool, honestly. Captain Chris, hello, welcome. When I was little, would I have school? Would people like start bullying you? Yeah. I went to school. I had my fair experience with bullies. Um, being socially awkward my whole life has never been easy. There's one thing I don't open up about too much, especially on live streams. But since you asked, I'll gladly answer. But yeah, I remember when I transitioned from fifth to sixth grade, went to middle school for the first time. I was assaulted by somebody in an inappropriate manner. And that was just like a wake up call, like, hey, welcome to middle school. Luckily, I never got bullied again after that. I mean, occasionally people would be like, dude, like, what's up with you? But other than that, they wouldn't like actually put their hands on me or try to talk me down or anything like that. Going to bed now, all right? Must be early for you. Horn by Man 4474. Talk to you soon. All right. Yeah, thank you so much for your subscription. Appreciate it. Let's see. I still haven't figured out how to actually comment on this. I can moderate and do all of that. But I don't see where I can comment unless it's blatantly in front of my face and I'm just not seeing it. Interesting. Okay. No big deal though. That's fine. I think it's the kids, Seattle area schools. They are not great. I dealt with them too for a bit. See, I was lucky that when I transferred from Federal Way School District to Fife School District, other than that one bullying incident in sixth grade, the schools were really inclusive and, it was a small town. So everybody knew everybody. And it was a really great junior high and high school experience. And I really could not have asked for it to go better. Being a part of my high school's broadcasting team is the only reason I didn't go straight in the running start and basically skip junior and senior year of high school. And I translate a lot of those skills now to today with content that I post here on YouTube. Yeah, it's very sorry to hear about that experience, Kat. All right. Yeah, I'm still not seeing anywhere to actually reply to comments. I've been in public school since 2021 or so. Zio Ford, is it okay if you can is it okay if you can say 6'7" on the stream? There, I said it. It's obvious we're in different demographics here. I'm 26 years old, so I don't like laugh when someone says 6'7". I'll be like, oh, great, you know. But yeah, I can tell you're probably less than half my age, but it is what it is. There's going to be some younger viewers on here, and I'm welcoming everyone in with open arms. But I can tell that my maturity level's different than a lot of people here on YouTube. So sorry, no harm done, Zio Ford. I just don't do the 6'7" and all of the meme stuff, if you know what I mean. I'm a fully grown adult, so it's just not in my best interest. But anyways, we're going on 2.5 hours, so we're gonna wrap things up for today. Definitely a longer stream than I anticipated, but thank you guys so much for your engagement. I'd like to eventually be streaming full-time again. Well, not again. I stream full-time on Puget Sound Stormwatch, but I only stream here and there on Milton Watt Tech 99. It's actually only my third time ever doing a stream on this channel. Chilton Schools has a substance abuse epidemic. Wow. They don't do enough for the kids. As for the bullying thing, I usually try to take it as a chance to work on myself and improve myself. Yeah, but do not let that peer pressure get to you. You know, always remember who you are and stick with that. Just remember, you don't have to change for anybody. But I guess we've had enough wisdom for today. I need to drink some water. I need to do some exercises. Owen, just as I'm wrapping up the stream, was good. Hello. Oh, excuse me. I don't know what's going on with the air today, but yeah, great to see you in here, Owen. Unfortunately, right as I'm winding down, but who knows, maybe next time. I did launch a poll earlier, and you guys answered, and I will definitely have to keep up with my promise. So I will be streaming more often here on the Milton Watt Tech 99 Productions channel. 100%. Glad I at least caught you before it ended. Yes. Perfect timing, my friend. Perfect timing. Just looking outside to see my vehicle and stuff. Okay. Yeah, the rain's coming in, so for sure I'm going to be switching over to my Puget Sound Stormwatch channel. So if anyone on here knows about my other channel, Puget Sound Stormwatch, I do stream quite a bit on there, especially on YouTube. If you guys want to go and give that a subscribe as well. Most likely going to be streaming tonight. I'm going to be attempting a simulcast on YouTube and Facebook just to sort of test it out. We have some weather coming in tomorrow that could bring some rain and breezy conditions. Doesn't sound like much, but with the weather being as stable as it has been the last week or so, just making for a really, really boring time, especially since I literally do my full-time forecasts based off of current events in the weather. By that, I mean I literally quit my daytime job just to do the weather gig full-time. But things are shaping up to a way where I'll eventually have to go back to work. I don't want to, but if I have to, just to be able to survive, then that is what I'm going to have to do. So, all right, everyone, I appreciate you guys for coming out. Looks like most of you guys have left already. Take care, Owen. Also, Captain Chris, Kat, Willow, if you're still in. Anyone else who I may have missed, thank you all so much for tuning in. Definitely got to start building watch hours on here. So combined with the release, hopefully the eventual release of the BTS teaser trailer, which should be more of a cinematic style trailer. About 2.5 minutes long is what I'm shooting for. But that should be released hopefully in the next couple of days if I'm feeling up to it. And then I'll be releasing probably 3 different volumes of BTS. So you guys all have a great afternoon, and I will see you guys around. Take it easy, everyone.